Krazy Crafters. Are you ready to color today?
Coloring, one of my favorite things to do, and such a relaxing type of therapy, but particularly when you kind of know how it's supposed to all go together.
Yes, so welcome to our coloring and shading series class. Today we're going to be focusing on yellow greens.
Yeah, so we've picked some of the yellow-green family to kind of show you some colors that are really complementary to each other and will give you that wonderful blending and shading and make your your colored drawings elevated so that you can feel really proud.
And I love how yellow-green colors are very springy, so there's different types of greens that you can learn to blend with. This is a very bright, like lime color, right?
Yes, it is. So my name is Kara.
And my name is Jackie.
And we are the mother-daughter team here at Krazy Kreations, and we welcome you all to our shading class.
Yes, so before we get started, you're going to need a few supplies. You'll need your alcohol-based markers. We'll be using Rite Art today. And what else do they need? You need your class kit.
Yes, and perhaps you will need a paper trimmer. I couldn't think of the name for a minute if you want to put them on the main sheet, but we'll talk about that in a minute. Now, before we begin, I want to kind of give you an overview of what this class is about, how it's evolving, and we do have a new announcement about this class. So let's first start about the shading classes. So here at Krazy Kreations, we are known for coloring with alcohol ink markers on our handmade glitter paper and using our vinyl outline stickers, which are kind of a substitute for stamping because it gives you that vinyl outline, which is very similar to an embossed line, wouldn't you say, Jackie?
Yeah, it's a stamping alternative, but you get a really shiny, crisp, thick line for all of your images.
So for many years we've used Copic Markers as part of our tools of coloring on our glitter paper when we're coloring our images, but we did make a switch because Copic became difficult to get and the price kept going up. So we now carry a brand called Rite Art, and it's somewhat exclusive to us, okay, but it's very, very similar to Copic's, and we had a lot of input about the marker and what kinds of ends we wanted, which is the brush tip and the fine tip, which I call the bullet. They're refillable. You can store them any way you want to. They're just really, really nice pens. Now, one thing that we did know when the manufacturer made them, that the numbers they tended to peel off. So we here at Krazy Kreations made stickers for all the numbers. So
we can show those later in the video.
Yes, and then we also have a color chart of the 140 colors that we carry. Now, we did do a conversion chart for the most popular 24 set that we use a lot in our kits and things like that on glitter paper. And that conversion chart is to the Copics and what we used to also carry, the Studio 71. Unfortunately, Studio 71 is no longer around, so we had to drop that, right?
Right, so now we love Rite Art markers, and if you don't own a set yet, we recommend starting with that 24 set of markers, and I think we have a link either in the comments or the description if you're interested in those markers.
So we do get a lot of questions, particularly with this class about the shading, is how do my Copics, convert to the Rite Art? Well, I really haven't gone there yet. That's a lot of work to do 140 conversions. Maybe one day I will do that, but I'm really liking the Rite Art and these colors that go together. So somebody had asked, what Copic should I bring? Because you're more than welcome as we're shading. All alcohol ink markers are pretty much the same, but you just need to know the ins and outs, like having a very light, a medium, and a dark that complement each other. So that's what we're kind of focusing on here, is using the Rite Art. And if you have the Copics, usually that YG01 family will do okay, but we really like this, and we're going to show you how having these complementary colors really elevates your coloring, and that's why we're doing it. So we're picking images, like for the yellow greens, the cactus, right, Jackie? Isn't that a perfect one? And then the frog that we're including in there is going to be your challenge. So I'm going to show you how to color a larger image using the same philosophy that we're learning, but then I want you to go off and create your own kind of thing to put the frog on, and that'll be part of the challenge, okay? So that's how this class works. We're here to show you the ins and outs of coloring and how different colors go together, which will hopefully help you appreciate your coloring more.
And not only that, we're going to be experimenting on the glitter paper and then also some cardstock blending paper, so 2 different mediums for you to take your coloring up a notch, try different things, and experiment.
Absolutely, because our stickers not only go on our glitter paper, they go on any medium, including the blending cardstock. And of course we all have stamps, so if you want to stamp and then do that, you can't stamp on our glitter paper, but this gives you the tools how to color on the blending paper. So we wanted to give you an overview of what the shading class is all about. Every month we pick kind of a color theme, and so this month it's yellow-green.
All right, we'll save our announcement for the end of the video. That was a lot of information. I'm ready to get started. Let us know if you're excited to get started for class. You can always drop a comment below. And we are on Facebook in our virtual classes group right now, and we're also on YouTube. So this is a live class. If you have any questions, you can type in the comments. We'll look at the comments while we're live from Facebook, and we can interact with you that way. And then if you need to, I don't know, if something comes up, you can always replay, rewind, and watch it later too.
Yes, you can. So I agree. Let's get started.
All right, so these are the inspirational images we have here. We have our cactus, and then we have our frog, and you can see that these are really those bright spring yellow greens.
Absolutely. So in your kit, this is what you're really getting is the key, is you're going to get this kind of information sheet, which is the class sheet, and it's perfect for putting in a page protector in a binder or making some holes on the side, because this is a guide that you can go back and say, oh, I remember when I colored with yellow-green, and then this could be your little guide of what colors were used and how we did it. So I know it says February 2021, but it's really March, right?
We know it's March.
I know. So in your section up here, we've put the Rite Art colors that we're using. And what you're going to want to do is go ahead, take the YG01, and we're just going to kind of put a little color next to it. Now these areas down here, if you have a different brand, maybe you have Copic, you could put the number and then do the same thing that I'm doing, right?
Wow, that YG01 looks very yellow.
It does. And then here's 9. And we have 21. So you can kind of see how we go from light, medium, to dark, right?
Right.
And that's will always give you the best coloring. You want a really light one, a medium, and a dark, because this one is really your blending tool, not the colorless blender. This is what you use to blend, the lightest color of the series. So if you have a different brand, you want something very light, something in the middle, and something darker. This will give you that great shading. Now we're also going to use a YG13, and in that one what we're going to do is we're going to kind of mix it up. And do you see how this green is a little different, Jackie?
I do. It has like a different tone to it. It's very like chartreusey.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, I don't know if I would say that, but it definitely is different. And so the thing is, this is olive.
Yeah, those are more olivey.
And yet this one has that more kind of spring green, I call it.
Yeah.
But the funny thing is, you could use these 3 together as well, with this being your dark. Or you can get a different color with this being your dark. Isn't that interesting?
Very.
Okay, and then there's a note section here. So I wrote notes because I wanted to remember when I'm doing the cactus, I'm using YG01, 9, and 21. But when I do these lily pads over here, I'm going to use the YG01, 9, and 13. Now you brought up something earlier, Jackie, oops, we're using YG01, not YG00. Now YG00 is one of our recommended colors that's in our 24 pack, right?
Yes, so I'm grabbing that right now. So this is the YG00, and it's even lighter than that one.
So let's go ahead and put that right here, and I'll make a note, even though we're not using it. It has a whole different green than this. Now I got to tell you, this color up here for the Copic was like YG01. This one's more like YG03.
Oh,
Isn't that interesting?
Very.
Okay, but this one is YG00. We don't have oh yes, we do have a writing utensil. Thank goodness, right?
And it's green.
And I'll let you go ahead and write YG00, just so we know. But and then I wanted to also show what is the color we use as the dark color in our 24.
So we usually do the YG00 with the YG29, and this is going to be very dark.
Yes, so this is even darker than this up here.
YG29.
Okay, so these are what we tend to use on our glitters when we're using two tones as a recommended, very light with very, very dark. But you can't do that on blending paper. You really need light, medium, dark, okay? So I just want to make sure that that's kind of a lesson that we're all really familiar with. I keep moving this down and you keep moving it up, so we're going to make everybody seasick.
I'm trying to cover up the wrong date.
Okay. Now, the other thing that's in your kit besides this sheet is you're going to get a packet to make a card kit in there. Now, what's nice is every single class, once we've learned our lessons, we encourage you to make at least one finished project so that you can see how your coloring looks on a project.
I think that's great, and I love how bright these colors are.
Yeah, so you can choose to color the blending cardstock or the glitter. For this card, I use the glitter.
Okay.
Okay, so again, this is, gosh, you keep moving that. What is up with you? So this is all three colors, okay? So this isn't that light dark. This is actually using three, and I think you could see a lot more shading in there. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, and then again, what is also in your kit is the sticker for this, but not the card, okay? This is my creation of a card, and we'll talk more about that when we get to the frog. But on this one, we're going to learn how to color him on the blending cardstock, which is definitely more challenging, wouldn't you say?
Yes, so that one is why we're here to practice, learning how to color on that blending cardstock.
And when you have a bigger image, it really takes more effort. Okay, so let's get started. What we have to do now is open up our kit, so I'll let you do that.
Okay, so the first thing I see here is we do have some instructions. These are for making the card, so we don't need those right now.
Right, so this is how to make this card, so we're going to put this aside.
We also have some card supplies. We're not going to need those right now either. We have our frog sticker. Again, this is not going to be for right now. But what we will want is our cactus sticker, right?
Yes.
And our two blending papers. One is glitter paper.
Right.
Let's see what else we have here. One is, our little guide here with the correct date. But
I know this one has the correct date, yes.
I had to think that was the year, not the day. 21. And then here's the blending cardstock. You'll notice that it's very, very, very smooth.
Okay, so perfect. So we are going to use the glitter paper, the cactus sticker, and this blending cardstock. Again, you should have gone ahead and filled out your information. And now we're going to work on our images that will go this part of it, okay? Now you are going to need your frog stickers, so you should probably have that one out for later, okay? All right, are we ready?
Okay, let's do it. So let's start off by priming our glitter paper.
Yes, so I'm going to do that.
So if you are familiar with the Krazy Kreations glitter paper, you know that it's handmade by the Krazy crew. And that means that we have to do one extra step to it, which is taking our fingers and rubbing back and forth or in a circular motion. This is called burnishing. And burnishing does a lot of things. So it makes it smooth, it gets some of the extra glitter off, it adds some sparkle, and of course it adds our DNA.
Okay, so I'm going to open up the sticker if you haven't done that yet. And Jackie hates it when I do that right next to the mic.
Yeah, I do.
I know. I know you too well, man. Okay, so our stickers are made of vinyl, right?
Yes, so they're made out of vinyl, they're black, they're shiny, and they're super easy to use. All you have to do is put your finger under the outline and peel it off.
Yeah, so our vinyl sticker here has 3 sets. So you're going to have 2 cactuses with 2 pots and a sentiment, and then it repeats itself. And that's because we make these mainly for card makers. They could be used on anything, but we know card makers like to make more than one, right?
Right.
Okay, so if we go back to our coloring guide for this class, we're going to start with this large cactus here. And this one here, we are going to learn how to color light to dark. So there are 2 different ways. There's light to dark, and then we're going to use the other cactus for the dark to light. So let's go ahead and peel this larger cactus and put it on our glitter paper.
Okay, so that is the cactus that's over here on the right. So like I said, put your finger under the outline. And if you've never peeled one before, don't be afraid. They're very durable, but for this image, it might have been easier to start peeling from the bottom of the cactus. But I didn't do that. So I'm just going to kind of sweep it into the area that I want. And then I can press it down. And we need to do one more set of burnishing. So I'm going to flip my paper over and make sure that I really rub that area down so the sticker is nice and sealed.
Yeah, usually we have our little brayer here, but we don't today.
No. Alright, so there's our sticker. It's ready to go.
Alright, so we're going to go ahead and learn this concept, coloring light to dark. Now, this is how Copic had recommended it many, many years ago when I became a certified Copic person. But, you know, it's a good one in the sense that when you lay your light color down, it keeps the paper nice and moist, which in essence will help you with blending. But it also tends to make your image darker. All right, so there are pluses and minuses, and through our exercise, hopefully you'll find the one that you prefer. Alrighty, so if we're coloring light to dark, we want our YG01, 9, and 21. I'm going to start with the lowest number, the lightest color on our palette, which was
YG01.
YG01. Okay, I guess you can't see that, so can you see it now?
Yeah, really.
Okay, so when you color, you're going to want to remember a couple things. The bigger the section is, you want to do one section at a time. So let's go ahead and do the middle, and we're just going to lay some color. Now you don't have to be too exact because all we're doing is putting color down so that our other colors will blend more nicely. Does that make sense?
Yes.
All right, so now we're going to go to our middle color, which is YG09, and we're going to figure out where we want our shading. So if we want our shading, here if I move this over, if we want our shading to be darker, our image at the bottom and the top, we're going to come in here and we're going to go up and we're going to do this thing called flicking, where you're going to go down and just kind of use the side of your brush and then lift up, okay? You want these nice little flicks because that'll be an easier way to blend.
This is also called feathering. right?
Yes, it has 2 names, and then we're going to go from the top down.
Now, I personally find it easier to flick from the bottom up, so if you need to rotate your paper, feel free to do that.
All right, now we want the darkest color, because remember, when we do things in 3s, that's the kind of ideal way, especially on the blending paper. So we're going to go in here now, and we want our darkest area to be here at the bottom. So we're going to go in and do that flicking, but we're only going to go up about halfway to that middle color. And this is a very light touch. You don't have to do really dark.
Yeah, you don't. The more dark you have, the darker your cactus will be.
Now what we're going to do is we're going to come up here and take that middle color, and there's a line between the dark and the middle, and we're going to start at that line and just push it down toward the light, making that line a little less stark.
And again, doing those feathering and flicking motions.
And then we're going to go back to our lightest color, YG01, and we're going to take that middle line color, and we're just going to blend. And there we are. What do you think?
Very cool, and you'll notice how those dark and medium colors really tone down that really bright yellow color for YG01.
Right. Now if you wanted to go in and add more dark, you could add some layers. You just want to remember to get rid of any lines that you see by going to the dark, to the medium, and then the light. Now we don't recommend doing 3 or 4 times all in a row. We recommend you letting it dry, correct?
Yeah.
All right, so now that we did that, we want to do the repeat thing to the side here. We're going to color in our light. This time I'm going to do a twofer. How do you like that, Jackie?
So you need your medium, YG09.
Yes. How did you like my twofer idea?
That works.
Okay.
There's smaller sections, so you can do 2 at a time.
Yes, so I'm going to go in. Now remember, always leave lots of light, because you can always make things darker, but you cannot go back, right?
Right. You can add dark, but you cannot remove dark.
So I'm here adding my darkest color.
Now, what is this kind of cactus called? Is it a saguaro?
I have no idea. Is someone asking us?
No. It's very quiet out there, so if you're here watching us, feel free to leave us a comment. You can even just say hello.
So I went to my middle color, and now I'm on my lightest color to kind of just blend that line, and I think this is looking delightful. I'm really happy. What do you think?
I think that looks good.
Okay, so now that we've done that, I think that was so exciting, we should approach going dark to light. Are there any questions out there?
No, not one.
Okay.
All right, so now we're going to peel another cactus. Okay, we're going to do the little one. I don't know what this one's called. I need to learn my cactus lingo.
I don't know either, actually. I just know them all as one word, cactus.
Even though I lived in Arizona for a while, I don't know the names. All right, I'm going to go down here. Actually, I'll go over here. What do you think?
Doesn't matter to me.
All right, so there's our cactus. I'm going to burnish, flip it over, and burnish again. Very important steps. Do not forget, okay? All right. Oh, there's everybody. Here, you can take that part out. All right, so we're going to do from dark to light. So we're using the same colors, all right? So this time we're going to start off with the YG01. So I got to find that one here. And I'm going to put the dark color where I want a shadow. So I'm going to look at my reference point over here. And I'm going to start with this section right here, so from the bottom. And I'm also using those feathering strokes, okay? So, and then I'm going to do some from the top.
Betty's telling us this looks like a prickly pear.
Oh. And it even has a little flower to go on it too. Okay, so now that we have our YG01, we're going to go to our middle color, which is YG09. Now, since we're going from dark to light, this is our medium color, and we're going to go right where that dark color ended, and we're doing those feathering strokes. So you'll notice that when we do the feathering strokes, it's very light up here. And if you need to, you can even turn your paper.
You have to get more on screen there. There you go.
And then last but not least, we need our light color, which is YG01. And we're going to do the same thing. And I'm going to meet it in the middle. And there we go. So if you wanted to color correct or add any bit of more color, we can definitely add more medium color is what I would need on mine. I kind of had a lot of dark, so I'm going to add more of my YG09. But I think that's looking good. So now we have these little bits up here, and we're going to follow kind of the same pattern for the shadows. So it looks like this area up here is dark, this area up here is dark, and then it looks like up here.
And who decides where the shadows are?
Well, you do, but I'm following Kara's beautiful example in her sheet here.
Yes, but the thing is, it's you as the artist that decides where you want the light, right?
Right. I'm going to zoom out a little bit so you can see that. Having a hard time getting everything on the screen today. Actually, can I have some scissors? Do you have any?
No.
Oh, great. All right. So I'm going to go back to my dark color, YG21. Putting it at the top of these little sections here. Now with these smaller sections, you don't have to worry too much. It's going to be easier to blend the smaller sections than the larger section. You know what I mean?
Yes, because if you put too much of that dark color, believe me, it's going to be dark. I just love these colors. I think they look so nice.
I think my favorite color that we're using is this middle color, the YG09. And then here's the YG01. And we're just going to do that towards the base here. So you'll notice that I'm doing a couple sections at a time. And I forgot that one up there, but I went back to it. So we're just going dark, medium, light.
Looking really, really pretty.
So I'm just touching where that dark color ended, pulling out a little bit, and then I'm going to the light color. I'm going to touch where the medium ended and go all the way to where the sticker ends.
I just think that whoever gets this would just be so excited to see the coloring.
I know, it's beautiful. And you know, in our videos and in our kits, we often color with just 2 colors on the glitter paper, but as you can see, you can color with 3, you can even add a 4th, as long as there's space for it.
Now, this sample card that I did was using the glitter paper, and just look how stunning that is when you finish the card. Isn't that beautiful?
It is. So there's our saguaro, and there's our prickly pear, and it even has a blossom on it.
I know, I just think it's so pretty, but I really want you to see how that light just really comes through. I just think it's beautiful.
I do agree.
So again, practice, practice, and then when you put something together, you can see just the result of everything that you learned. Now, just to kind of say, to finish this out, we use the oranges in our 24 set and our pinks from our 24 set. So it's YR18 and YR01 and RV00 and RV17, and same with the flower up there. Okay, so I just think that's beautiful. I just wanted to show what a finished result looks like.
Okay.
Okay.
So yeah, wasn't that very easy? Let us know which technique you preferred on the glitter paper. Did you like the light to dark method, or did you like the dark to light method? You can let us know in the comments below.
Okay, so now that we've kind of done that, let's continue with the glitter paper while we still have it and do these lily pads, because we're going to bring in a different color tone. Remember how I talked about using that YG13 with YG01 and 9. So we're going to go to our frog sticker and get two lily pads.
Okay.
Okay, so here I am opening my sticker. I'm sure you are too, but this is the frog. And again, this is one of the first stickers that I ever drew here for our Krazy Kreations. That's just a little memorabilia. How do you like that?
It is, I remember.
So we have two lily pads right here, and we're going to use those for our practice. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and peel. And this is, really good practice. Wouldn't you agree?
Yes, so the more you can do more repetitions, the better you are going to be when you start coloring. So practice, practice, practice makes perfect.
Right on. And if you ever need more stickers, go to crazycreations.us.
We have lots.
Yes. Okay, so I kind of really burnished this. I don't think we need to turn it over because it's such a small thing. I was able to get that. Would you agree?
Yes.
Okay, so I said the numbers that we're going to use are YG01, 09, and then we're going to go to that 13. So I'm doing the color light to dark, correct?
Yes, so you're coloring light to dark.
So we're going to add light all over to kind of wet the paper. Okay, now we're going to go to our middle. So again, you need to pick an angle that you want to be your darker area. I'm going to have this on the bottom be the darker area and have the top kind of be the light, okay? Whoops, you have 9.
Yes, I do.
Oh, Jackie. Okay, so this is my middle color, YG09, and we're going to go ahead and just kind of feather up, right?
And notice how Kara is coloring right over the black lines of the sticker.
And now we're going to come to this YG13 and make that our dark, and you can see it has a whole different color combo than that other one, right?
Yes, so this is more of an olivey and this is more of a lime.
Yes, so now I'm going to go in with my middle color, YG09, bring that up toward the light and get rid of any harsh lines. And then I'm going to come back in with my lightest color, YG01. And there we go. What do you think? I think that's pretty, don't you?
Very pretty.
And you can really see the differences between the olive tone and that springy tone, right?
Yes, so there's different tones of colors. Even if you're just like in the same color family, which is YG, you can see there's different tones.
Yes, so I think we should do the dark to light now.
Okay, so the dark color being
YG13.
YG13. So I'm going to do the same shading pattern that she did. So it's going to have the shadow on the bottom and the highlight towards the top. And don't forget that if you need to rotate your paper, you're welcome to do that. I find it easier actually. So I'm going to start down here. Don't be afraid, color over those black lines. It will not hurt your sticker. Then we're going to use YG09 and just go where that line ended and create more of those feathering strokes. Remember, you don't want to start all the way back here. You want to start right where that last color ended.
That's a good point. Why don't you go all the way to the beginning?
Because then you're going to drag the dark color all the way across your image, and we don't want that.
And the lighter color will also erase the darker color, just so you know.
And then to finish this off, we're going to use our YG01. And we're going to start where that medium color ended. And I'm using the side of my brush, by the way. There we go.
Beautiful. Very nice.
So you can see there's some slight differences between the techniques there.
Yes, this one does tend to be a little darker, and this one tends to be lighter because you don't have that undercolor all over, right?
Right.
Now what you'll want to do at this point then is you'll want to cut these out and put them on your sheet here to remind yourself that this one here was our coloring light to dark. This one here was our coloring dark to light, just so you can have a reference of how they look. And then over here we have the lily pads, okay? So light to dark, dark to light. So you want to cut these out to give yourself a sample when you go back to review.
Yes, very important. Don't forget which one was which.
Now you have all this extra glitter paper to create with, so that can be whatever you want to do, whether it's your one card or something else. And now we're going to move on to the blending paper.
Yes, so this was so easy. It was blending like butter, and now we're ready for the challenge. Now, it's not impossible, but it is a little trickier.
Yes, so coloring on blending paper is definitely trickier in the sense that the glitter helps you flow the colors all over the paper, where the blending paper, you have to work at it a little bit harder, okay? So it's not as fluid of a medium. The other thing is that you first have to start out and make sure your paper is compatible with alcohol ink, right?
Right, so not all cardstock is alcohol marker friendly.
Right, so this one that we're using today is called Express It. It has kind of a shiny feel to it. I really like it when I'm teaching, and I always start with the glitter paper to give you confidence, because you're going to see that at least you have some tools to get you through this blending process. So there's no right or wrong side to it. It is a 90-pound weight paper. How I know that it is complementary to the alcohol ink marker is when I color on it, it doesn't bleed. That means the color doesn't run all over the paper. Also, when I color, we are going to see color on the back, but it's not going to go all the way through and saturate to my table here. And lastly, it will blend very nicely.
Yeah, it's very smooth, and it's just touching on what you said about like bleeding through. Think of a piece of typing paper, how if you put a dot of ink on it, it would just go right through the paper to your table behind it. This one will not do that.
All right, that is true. So let's go ahead, and we've given you an 8.5 by 11 piece of this very expensive premium paper, and we're going to peel this long one, which is what we did for light to dark.
So now this is a Saguaro Cactus.
Well, I'm glad you know.
We're here to learn.
Okay. I guess I'll go up here. So the one thing about this, though, is you want to be really good the first time, because our stickers don't always come up, right, on the paper?
Yeah, so on the glitter paper, you can reposition it a little bit if you decide you didn't like where you placed it. On this paper, it will tear the paper if you try to lift it back up.
And that also means you don't have to burnish as much, right?
Right.
Okay. So, same concepts, coloring light to dark. We're going to start with our YG01, and we're going to give it some color. So one of the ways that I learned was to color in circles. So what I'm doing is I'm making circles to cover my paper like this, using the side of the brush, but you can see how nice and even that color is going. You could do it any way you want, but this is how I learned, and I really enjoy that circular motion. Okay, now if you color like this, you could see sometimes you have splotches. That's why I don't always do it like that.
You get streaks and lines.
Okay, now the next thing is we're going to go to our middle color, which was the YG09 right here. And we're going to do that feather thing again. So we're going to do this feathering like this, okay? So we're going to come up, and we're going to go about, a third, and then we'll come down.
Now it looks like we had a question here. Are these 3 greens from the 24 set? No, these were extra colors.
Right. And then our last darkest color was that YG01. And we're going to go about halfway up that middle color. Right, Jack?
Yes. You can see how dark this one really is.
Okay.
It's a very olivey green.
Now we need to blend these harsh lines. So we have a harsh line between the darkest color and the medium. So we're going to go to the YG09 and we're going to work this line. Now we're not going to go all the way back because we'll erase the color. We want to start at the line and add a bit of pressure. Okay? So you're going to sweep that line up so it kind of goes away.
That is another difference with the blending paper versus the glitter paper. You need more pressure on the blending cardstock.
And then we're going to finish out this next harsh line between the YG09 and 1 with the lightest color, YG01. Start at that line, add a little bit of pressure, and there goes the line.
You can even hear the marker squeaking.
I know, the squeaking is good. Look how pretty that is.
Very pretty.
Now before I get too critical, I like to color all my image and then go back and touch it up, okay? So we're going to continue along and add our light color to the 2 arms of this cactus. Is that?
I'm sure they have a specific name.
I know, but I'm calling it the arms. Then I'm going to go to my medium color and I'm going to add that dark right here. I think I'll have the tip be light. And then I'm going to go into the darkest color and just add a little bit toward the end. And now I have these harsh lines, so I go back to that medium color. I mean, this is all repeat, 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 right?
Yes. Now, question. Say you got a phone call in the middle of coloring and you had to leave the room. You come back and you want to start coloring again. Your ink has dried up on your page, so what do?
You can resaturate by going over. I always take my lighter color and kind of just go over and get it a little bit wet and then just go right back to what you were doing.
So you have to resaturate. You can't just pick up from where you left off because your pens won't blend on that dry paper as well.
Right. Now I do want to just add note here that once this has been wet, I'm going back over with my dark, my medium, and the second time on the blending cardstock. It is so fantastic because it's so wet and moist and it really blends very nicely. That's why I never get frustrated the first time.
Yeah, it always takes about 2 times until you're happy with your image. And keep in mind that it's going to dry a little bit lighter than it looks.
Right, and here we are. What do you think, Jackie?
I think it looks awesome. What do all of you think that are coloring today? Okay, so I think we should move on to the next cactus.
The prickly pear.
Prickly pear. And by the way, I love prickly pear jelly.
Yes, your uncle makes it for you.
I know, it's amazing. If anyone's had prickly pear jam or jelly, let me know in the comments. Alright, so I'm going to peel this guy right here and put him on the blending paper. So I'm going to do that over here off camera, but you know what I'm doing. And then we'll place him on the paper. I'm actually going to slide that up. And by the way, you have so much extra paper today that it's awesome. Okay, so there is our sticker. I lightly burnished it down and we're ready to color. So I do want to make one note that when I learned how to color with these alcohol markers, I know we're doing dark to light for this one, but you always need to have that base coat down. No matter if you're going light to dark or dark to light.
I never do.
Really?
No, I never do.
Interesting. Well, just because it's the way I'm used to, I'm going to do the coat of the light. So I'm actually going to use the YG01, then I'm going to work my way from dark to light. So I'm going to do that circling motion again.
Well, it just goes to show you we all kind of do it our way. But I will tell you, on this blending paper, it does pay to have some color down to make it a little easy. But when I do my dark to light, I literally do dark to light. So if this doesn't work for you, you should try the other way.
Yeah, experiment. Let us know. So now I'm jumping right to the dark, YG01, whereas if we compare to what Kara did, she went to the medium. We're going straight to the dark, and we're going to do that flicking or feathering. Okay. Then I'm going to do some from the top.
I think we should note that you try not to stop at the same spot because you don't want to make a line. So if you look at your feathers, they're really nice and jagged.
Yes. You don't want like a solid line across there. And now we're looking for our YG09, which is our medium. And I'm going to go where that other color ended and do some more flicking. See how I have some short strokes and then a tall one here? And then I'll do the same from the top. And then we'll go back to that light color, YG01, and we'll do that again for the middle. Squeaky, squeaky. Okay.
Really pretty.
So there's our middle section. All right, so let's mix it up and go straight to dark for these other parts. Let's see how that works.
Okay, let's.
So I'm going straight to the YG21, okay, the dark color, and we're gonna apply that. I'm going rogue now. I'm doing my own shading.
Okay.
So I put the dark color at the base of those two little areas. Then we're gonna go for the medium color, YG09.
I mean, our whole purpose is to make everybody feel comfortable with this coloring, right?
Yes, and experimenting is key. Sometimes it can be a little daunting to try new things when you're on your own, but when we're all doing it together, it's not so bad.
And frankly, I think some of the hardest is just picking the colors that go together. So I think once you know what colors go together, that's invaluable.
Yes. All right, so there's that way.
Pretty.
So, I mean, there's not a huge difference, but for me, I prefer this way here.
Okay, so I'll let you finish that out, and then we're going to do our lily pads.
Okay, I'm going straight to my dark again because these areas are so tiny that I'm just going to jump straight to the dark color and try it Kara's way. YG09 is the medium. Remember, flicking motions, uneven strokes, using the side of our brush. There's a lot to remember while you're coloring. YG01.
But don't you think it becomes natural?
It does. And, by the way, if you ever have an area that's just, you're not liking how it blended, like for example up here, you can just go over it in a circular motion too with the lightest color and see if that helps you like your blend a little better.
Right, exactly. Well, that's looking really, really pretty. So would you go over that again, or you like it the way it is?
I mean, I'm okay with it, but if I wanted to make it a little more blended, I could add more medium and light color, but I'm going to leave it as is.
Okay, very pretty. And what I love about this green, you can really see those light areas. You know, I think it makes a big pop. What do you think?
I agree. So let us know, did you prefer the light to dark on the blending paper or the dark to light?
Now, while we're here, let's just continue for our little cheat sheet. We're going to put 2 of these lily pads right here. And I'm going to do that light to dark. And so, but we're going to use as our dark the YG13, right?
Yes, so that's more of that lime electric green.
Okay, so we're going to go in with YG01. And then we're going to add our YG09. And again, I'm just going to go to the bottom here. I love that squeak noise. How about you?
It's a happy noise.
Then we're going to go with this YG13 on the very bottom, and you could really see the difference in the tone. Jackie, you keep fiddling with this. It's really...
I'm trying to zoom in for all of our
And now
viewers.
I'm on YG09. And you can see, look at from that color to that color. And then we're finishing with YG01. Now I will tell you, sometimes I like to kind of go like this over the whole thing, just to kind of give it a tone.
That's what I was doing before.
Yeah, I like it. Okay, your turn.
Okay, I'm going to go back to my way. My way or the highway. So, YG01, because I want to lay down that initial base so that we have some ink on the paper. Then we're going to jump straight to dark. YG13. So I'm going to do my flicking, feathering motions. Then we're going to use our YG09. And we're going to add some of the medium color. Squeak, squeak. And then we're going to do YG01. And if you want to, you can go over it in those circular motions. If you think that you need a little more blending, you can see that it really blends the colors together.
Really nice, really pretty, and I love that we could see that. So now you would cut those out, and you're going to put that on your sheet. Remember, this one was light to dark, this one is dark to light, and then you also have your lily pads, okay? So that will complete your cheat sheet for future reference. But I think what's really important now is coloring the smaller elements seems attainable, but what happens when you have something larger, like the frog? So I think we should kind of go through that and on the harder blending paper. What do you say?
Okay, so this is kind of like a bonus image for us to color. Traditionally in our coloring classes, we stick to the sheet, but today we're doing an extra.
Actually, no, we started doing this with the heart too, the flower heart.
Oh, that seems so long ago.
I know, but it's not, because I want everyone to progress, because doing a larger image can be daunting. Wouldn't you agree?
Yes.
Okay, so here I am pulling the mouth separately because our frog has to have a smile.
I mean, you could make it a frown, but it's better as a smile.
I know, Jackie. All right. Now this is a much larger image that may kind of be scary at times, but let's look at our sample that I made. And I just want to show you all of this shading, okay? So we're going to stick with the frog being our 3 first colors. And then I'm going to let you guys do the lily pad. We'll do this lily pad, but these 2 you should be well practiced at, okay? So Jackie, could you get our frog colors in order for me? Now what I want you all to know, when you first have an image, you have to decide where is the light source going to be. Okay, so that's something you have to make a choice. Now one of the first things that I like to kind of consider is making it toward the middle. Sometimes I find that easiest. What about you?
Yeah, I agree, especially if you're just thinking like the sun is going right at him and he's kind of a round little frog, so the middle makes sense.
And then sometimes I add a little something, outside the middle, where you can see right here, I put a little highlight. So I have to tell you guys a secret. There's no shading police out there. So you can do it any way you want, but sometimes sticking to the middle will really help, okay? There are other options. You could have the light all on this side and dark on this side, or the opposite, or you could have all the light on the bottom and all the dark on the top, right? But I really find the middle gives me the most interest. It's really up to you. Okay, so that's the first thing that you always have to decide. Now, the second thing is going to be, are we going to color light to dark or dark to light? So I think I'll mix it up and do the dark to light.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yes.
So it's a double challenge day.
So if I'm going to do that, I am definitely going to start with my darkest color, which is YG01. Okay? So the other thing that you need to realize when you have a large image is you're just going to do a little bit at a time. Now I know these legs are the easiest part, so I'm going to start you off easy. So we peeled our frog, we're on the blending cardstock, and I have my darkest color, right?
Right.
So I'm going to go ahead, and I want the light to be right there. So I'm going to do that on both sides, and I'm going to do these legs. Now I don't want too much of the leg. If I go too much, it's going to be all dark, right?
Right, and we don't want an all dark frog. We want to see highlights in there.
So I'm going to now take my middle color, which was
YG09.
And I'm going to bring it toward the light. And then I'm going to finish off, whoops, I hit that one. Am I good?
Yeah.
With the light. So I'm kind of mapping it out right here.
So you can see that it's not perfect the first time, but I'm sure Kara's going to go back and make some adjustments.
I am, so I'm going to just redo. And remember, I told you when you go back, it's like butter. It really is. Don't you think that's looking good?
Yeah, it does look good.
All right. Okay, I like that one. What about you?
Oh, look at the difference from the left leg to the right leg.
Yeah, so there's a big difference. So now we're going to come in. I'm kind of coloring at a weird angle.
Yeah, you could turn your paper.
I could. Okay, how's that?
Looks good.
All right, so how are you guys doing out there? Are you doing pretty good, I hope? Now, we might as well do these little tiny feet, too. So we really don't want a lot of this dark, just very little. I mean, really little.
When you have smaller sections, there's not a whole lot of room for shading.
And then we're going to come in with that medium color.
So if I were doing this at home, I probably would just do the feet 2 colors.
Yeah, you could, but I'm going to go for that 3. But you could, absolutely.
Do you always have to shade with 3 colors?
No. When they're small, like Jackie said, no.
But if you do want that contrast, that beautiful blend, and that awe factor, 3 colors is going to look really good. You could also color with 4 colors, 5 colors, 6 colors, but that's a lot of work.
That is. I think I should do a class like that.
Do you want to take that class? You can let us know in the comments.
Yeah, I think that would be a fun class. All right, look at that, Jackie. I think that's looking really good. How about you?
Very nice.
Okay.
Now we have the daunting part, the big head.
Well, no, first we're going to go into the middle.
Oh, I thought that was a different color scheme.
It is actually a different color scheme. So we will do the head like you said, okay? So the head is quite large. So we are going to have to pay attention to how we're shading that, okay? So the first thing is we know we want this to be the light, so we're never going to touch a dark color to this section. So we're going to go in and kind of start from here.
We have some funny comments. Please, no more colors. And Penny says, sure, with 4 exclamation points. By the way, I think we have a new Krazy Crafter with us today, and her name is Erica. So welcome, Erica.
Yeah, welcome aboard. All right, so we're going to go ahead and I'm going to just make all this my dark area. What do you think, Jackie?
Looks good. Looks kind of scary, but I know it's going to look good at the end.
All right, class, now we're going to our middle color. Here we go. What is that middle color?
YG09. You're all going to dream about these colors tonight. You're going to just be repeating YG09.
But remember, we're not going to worry too much about the blending yet, right?
Right.
And then we're going to come in here and we're going to put our light color, just kind of marry it. So I'm just kind of going over here, and now I'm going to go back and fix it. Okay, that's my rough assessment. What do you think?
Okay.
Okay, so now I'm going to go back to my darkest color. And I'm just going to add that a little bit more. Did everybody realize that when you do that, how smooth it is after you put the second layer down?
I can definitely tell when I'm coloring. Let us know if you see the difference.
Oh, I just think that second time it makes it look so nice.
Or if you can feel the difference, I should have said. Yeah, it's more buttery when you do it the second time.
All right, and my lightest color. And you definitely want to add a little bit of pressure, you know, to get that line. What do you think, Jack?
That looks good. He's a cute little happy frog.
I think he's so cute. Now definitely when you go to do the eyes, you want this part to be black, okay? Now for the belly, I think instead of the YG01, we're going to switch it up to the YG13 as our dark color, just to give it a little bit of contrast. What do you think?
Right, you don't want to use the same colors in every section. It'll break up the image a little bit and add some more interest to the image.
So this is our dark color, YG13. Then we have to go to that YG09 to blend that harsh line. You could just tell how these colors go so well together, right? And then YG01, you want to marry that. Now, is it good the first time?
Not really.
No, so you have to go back. Jackie, what are you trying to say? But you always have to go back on this blending cardstock and work it until you like it. I'm here working at this weird angle, but I'm still liking it. Okay, and then we'll put our YG01.
So what happens if you don't like your frog? Well, this is a great time to look at your frog sticker sheet, and you have 2 more frogs you can practice on.
Did somebody say that?
No.
Oh, I was going to say, you should be liking your frog. This is practice, by the way. All right, the lily pad, we're also going to do the YG13. So we're going to come out here, and it's going to always be darker where there's something on top of something. So these feet are on here. That's a shadow, right?
Yes. That's where you're going to want your darker color.
Okay. And then I'm going to go to the YG09. And I'm not going to leave a lot here for the light. I'm going to have the light be more down there.
You'll notice there's more space over here to add that light color. Over on the right side, there's not a lot of space.
So this, I changed my light source just a little bit because I know the frog's going to create a shadow. Again, no police, so nobody knows if it's right or wrong. It's what I want, right?
Exactly.
Okay, and we have to fix it up now. I'm really loving this coloring.
I like how we had two different versions of the yellow-green combination today by just switching up the dark color.
I agree. I think that just shows you what you could do with color, right?
Yeah, so I'm curious. Did I already ask if they prefer the olive green or the lime green?
I don't think you asked that.
Let us know if you are preferring that YG01 or the YG13 as your dark color.
Okay, there we are. What do you think?
I think it looks good. Now, if you wanted to add some more character to him, you can fill in the eyeballs with the black marker, and then he'll really come to life.
I think we have a black marker here. Do you want to do that?
Okay. So let's just take our Rite Art number 100 and put some black on his eyes. We won't do any shading to his eyeballs. There.
That is
Now
so cool.
He is a cute little character.
I love it. Now when you cut him out, he's going to look different, and I also just want to give you some clues here. You know, each one always comes out different, right? When you color.
Yeah, a little bit different.
But I do want to tell you, because some people might ask, how did you get these in those, what do you call those?
Cattails?
Yeah, I think so, maybe. Cattails. So what I did was, in our 24 set, I used the darkest purple here, and then I went up to the brown, E18, and I blended in the BV00, the lightest purple. So I have three separate colors. I went dark purple to a darker brown to a light purple.
And those colors are in the 24 set of Rite Art markers.
That is true. So that is how I did that. Now again, this is how I did my card, but I think Jackie's going to have an announcement.
Yeah, so we want to see your twist to this really cute froggy card, and we have a challenge for you. So I'm going to change our screen. So the challenge for you is to finish coloring your frog, cut him out, make a card with it, take a picture of it, and post it in our group, Krazy Kreations Crafting Groupies. And then we want you to use a hashtag, and we'll pick some winners in 1 week.
Now, do we have the hashtag already?
Yes, so I'll put it on the screen. The hashtag is Green Yellow Challenge.
Ooh, that's easy to remember. Green Yellow Challenge. So I'm going to repeat. You go to the Facebook group, Krazy Kreations Crafting Groupies. Then you're going to take a photo and post your finished frog project, and use the hashtag when you're posting Green Yellow Challenge, and don't forget hashtag Green Yellow Challenge, and then you will be part of the pool to select a winner.
So we will pick several winners in 1 week. Now, today is the last day of the week, so we actually have a coloring challenge this month, and this week's theme was yellow and green. So you can actually double hashtag your photo. So you can use that hashtag Green Yellow Challenge and then hashtag Krazy Kreations 30 day, and then you're entering 2 challenges at one time.
Now, for the 30-day challenge, you don't have to have a finished project, so you can quickly take a picture of your coloring and post that, and then post your finished project later.
Right, so that coloring challenge entry, though, has to be today, because starting tomorrow, the color theme is changing.
Absolutely. So you've all done it because we did it together, right?
Yes.
Now we have one other announcement.
One exciting announcement left, and I saved the best one for last. Some of you have been asking if we can make this class a subscription. So we do this coloring series once a month, and we change the colors up, and if you don't want to miss out on this class, we've made it a subscription for you. Isn't that awesome?
It is awesome because a lot of times we'll sell out and then you're all disappointed. So this way you don't have to worry if you got it or not, because we'll always have these videos that you can replay at your leisure, or you can join us live. It will always be the second Saturday of each month that we're going to go live with the actual class, but you can replay whenever.
So if you want to subscribe, here's how you do it. You go to our website, crazycreations.us, you click classes, and you find the class subscriptions. Now there's two options, and if you want to join us for the coloring series, you'll click the coloring series link, and then it will say, if you scroll down in the description, it says subscribe. Click subscribe. You're going to get like a little pop-up window, and then you can fill out all your information from there. And so let's go over the details really quickly.
Okay, so the price will be the same, $23.99, and yes, it includes shipping. And you're going to get, just like we did today, you're going to get the cover sheet, the stickers, the glitter paper, the blending cardstock, and one card to make with your finished kind of practicing. Now, you're always probably going to have a bonus challenge because I'm starting now to show you how to color beyond just the little sample. So we'll have that all set to go.
Yes, so if you're in the subscription, you will be charged on the 25th of the month. And then like Kara said, the class will be held live on the second Saturday. So for example, if you want to join the April class on the second week in April, then you'll want to make sure you subscribe before March 25th. And then we'll send you your kit. And don't forget, there's always replay available. So, I mean, it's just going to be so much fun.
It is. And if you need to cancel, because it's a month by month, there's no prepaid options or anything like that, then you can cancel at any time.
Exactly. So we're so excited to have that announcement for you. We hope you are too. Let us know if you're excited about that. And I think we just had so much fun learning how to color those beautiful springy yellows and greens today. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yes, my name is Kara. Keep coloring.
My name is Jackie. Thanks for joining us again. Give us a thumbs up if you enjoyed the class, and we'll see you really soon.